Yo, what's poppin', everybody? How y'all doing out there today? Welcome back to the podcast, another episode of Caffeine and Green with your man, Conor Cardenas. And before we get into it today, man, I just want to give a huge shout out to the title sponsor of Caffeine and Green, which is 7 Seas Roasting Company, coming straight out of San Diego, my home roaster. Now, what makes this roastery so sick is that we get to work with these farmers. We're not just getting these coffees, we're working with them directly and making sure that everybody's taken care of. So we're not taking care of just the consumer, we're taking care of that farmer as well. So it's really awesome. We get to showcase these coffees. Now, full transparency, I am the head roaster at 7 Seas. But regardless, you know that the coffee that I'm giving you is straight fire, yo. So if you head over to the website, 7seasroasting.com, use my code C and G at checkout, you're going to get 3 bags of coffee for $30. That's an amazing deal because 2 bags of coffee is essentially $32. So you're getting a bag for free. It's a no-brainer. So you can go over to the website, choose from any of the coffees that we have, like our dark Guatemala, which is chocolatey and it's full-bodied and it's a little bit of our dark roast. And it's just, we have other options. We have a Peruvian, we have our Lao coffees, the Fodom Quan, our new Lao, and Setapung as well. So we got options, people. So use that coffee code C and G at checkout, and you'll be good. My guest today, Dennis O'Connor. This man is a local San Diego legend and straight up boss. That's what he's doing around these areas. Why I had him on and why I say he's a boss. Dennis O'Connor straight up has San Diego Taxman. He's owner of Thorn Street Brewery down here in San Diego, and he also does Home and Away San Diego with the location in Old Town and in Encinitas. And he's about to be doing a 4th project. We didn't get into that one too much, but again, this guy, he wears so many hats, he does so many things, and he has so many successful businesses. I had to talk to this man, and I have to say it was inspiring. It's amazing to hear what he's done, what he continues to do, and what he plans to do in the future. So I really enjoyed this, guys. I really hope you enjoyed as much as I did. And Dennis O'Connor, this your time to shine, homie. Let's go. Caffeine and Green. It's your boy Connor. What's good? Caffeine and Green. And we are live.
All right.
Dennis O'Connor, welcome to Caffeine and Green, sir.
All right. Thanks for having me.
I usually try to do a cheers, so we'll do what is that, a kombucha? Dude, you know what's so funny? I've had guests or potential guests, people that I legitly want to bring on the show, and I've had people say hey man, I got to check with my work. They're gnarly about weed and drinking and stuff. I was like, dude, by no means do you have to drink or smoke on the show at all. It's just it tends to happen that everybody who comes on the show likes to partake.
Yeah.
So, but dude, I've had people do kombuchas. I've had people just do waters like Pellegrinos myself.
Yeah. We did smoke a little.
We did. It was nice. It just a quick little hit. Just a little bit. But dude, I mean, I tend to just go right into it.
Yeah.
And for me, when I saw you for taxes, in my yearly visit, I was like, dude, I know you do Thorn Street, you do now Home and Away, you have a spirits.
We're in the works, yeah.
In the works, and then you have your own tax business.
Yeah.
That to me, as a person who prides himself on just always hustling, I see you and I'm like, I need to talk to this guy. How do I I need to pick your brain, and how it's I was just asking you just a second ago, how do you manage your stress?
Yeah.
But okay. What came first out of all these business endeavors?
The taxes. Yeah.
Taxes?
I mean, I've been doing my own tax returns and my friends and family since I had my first job. And funny enough, my first job, I was 15. It was a summer gig, and I actually worked for Crest Beverage. I rode shotgun in one of the big beer trucks and actually delivered beer. So I worked for the enemy. Yeah, I mean, ever since I got a W-2 and I figured out TurboTax, and I figured out you got X amount of returns per household, but if you uninstalled it and reinstalled it, you got to do another 3 or 4 returns. And I did them all pretty much just my whole life. And went to college and would make a little money during tax season and buy a keg for the house and It's just kind of a thing,
Dude, what?
Yeah. And my major, I went to UC Santa Barbara. My major was business, and then I ended up minoring in or getting an emphasis in accounting.
Okay.
Just because it always came, and numbers was always a thing that I kind of excelled in.
Yeah.
But I never knew that taxing was going to be a thing, And I came back and because it had some fun odds and end jobs. I did a little real estate, and then ended up working for a firm, a CPA firm here, Considine and Considine. It's one of the bigger privately owned ones, and I worked there for just under a year, and I was like, screw this. This is just sucking my soul out. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I was going to ever do it again, but oddly enough, regardless of whatever jobs I was doing, every time tax season came around, I still had those friends, and then I had their friends, and then it was one of those things that kind of just grew on its own, and one year, it just kind of hit me, slapped me in the face. It was like, wait a second, you got a couple hundred people here, and this is just something you've just been doing, just as the season comes around. Maybe take it a little more serious, and San Diego Taxman was born.
Dude, as you're saying this, yesterday when I was driving by, because I've been like anticipating you coming through, and I looked up at your shop and I realized I was like, do you guys close when it's not tax season anymore?
No, we're open. It's just a different beast. You go from 16-hour days to 16-hour weeks, and I go from a full time, about 7 staff full time to pretty much 1.5. So
wow.
It just changes significantly.
So,
which is the best part about it. That's why I love it the most. If I did that job year round, I'd jump off a bridge. I'm definitely not a desk jockey. I got way too much energy for that. But to do it for a 2.5 month stretch where it's just 6-7 days a week, 16-hour days, and then you come out at the end of it and you're just like, okay, yes. I could breathe. Yeah. And then it's fun, and then it allows me to kind of reinvent myself and dive into other projects, including all the ventures you brought up.
Yeah, I mean, that was the other thing is I know some accountants. I have one accountant friend. Her name's Nicole, and she is just a little wild child when she's not
accounting.
Accounting. Yeah, but that's what her full-time job is, and through talking to her, through talking to my wife, and just like, everybody who I've ever talked to is like, dude, accounting or doing that, it takes a certain type of person. And I've met all those type of people. Sometimes they're not like reserved, quiet, whatever, crunch the numbers. But dude, everything that I see in you, you break that mold. You're either traveling someplace in the world, you're opening new businesses. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, so you basically had Taxman. Mm-hmm. You're doing that. What Thorn Street, I assume, was the next one?
No, actually what happened, so the building that Thorn Street's in came up in a short sale, and I got
the one underneath you.
That whole property.
Oh, okay.
Thorn, and then where Taxman is, and I was looking in North Park at that time. I'm from this neighborhood originally.
Okay.
And so when I saw that building, I knew it right when it came up, and I just knew it had this massive. I mean, you've seen the back of it, right?
Yeah.
And so I knew it was this really odd duck, like 10-car garage like place. And I said, I got to get it, And so I went and met the guy. He was a huge, like 400-pound hoarder with 3 dogs. And it was like, it was a big deal. And I said, hey, man, he was kind of on his outs. I mean, the bank was about to take it. It was a short sale. I said, I'll give you my cut of the commission on this deal if you just don't show it to anybody else. And he was really good at cock blocking everybody. And so I gave him the dough. I ended up buying the building, and it was one of those things. I always thought, when Taxman had first ran, I traveled a lot more then than I do now. A lot of my trips were a lot longer. And so I kind of got to where I was like, I kind of want to have something else going on outside of tax season, maybe start another business. And so my hobbies at the time were making beer and growing weed. And so when I bought that building, I actually opened up home brews and gardens. And so it was a homebrew and hydroponic store.
What?
Yeah. So that was there before Thorn.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So how long did that last for?
That lasted about 2 years, and it just got to where it was a pill to, retail sucks. It was just, had, young employees. There's always drama. You half your money, if not more, is on the shelves. I mean, it's just, and especially in hydroponics, that was such a cutthroat industry, because anywhere you go, everyone's trying to get a discount on cash, and you end up making $200 on a $3,000 system. It just sucked, And it ended up being where, that took away time from the things that I like doing, which was brewing beer and growing weed. Yeah. So, and it's, it just became it just became more work. The juice wasn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
But while that business was open, I was pushing the envelope on doing a small brewery, right? So to produce on site. And it was, the timing was perfect. And I think we are the first neighborhood brewery. It was kind of one of those ones where it just kept persistence, talking to the right people, got denied, zoning, they said no. And then we just, kept on it. And then they finally said, yeah. And once they said, yeah, save fire sale. So everyone came in and got all the free T5s and 5-gallon carboys they could take out.
Whoa.
And then the rest is history. It became Thorn.
Damn. So what's the origin behind the name of Thorn Street?
It's on Thorn Street.
Oh, that's it. Perfect. Okay, that makes sense. The first neighborhood, duh. I didn't want to think about that.
No, it's good. It's a good question. I can't say that was like the immediate first answer. I think we probably kicked around a few names, but yeah, Thorn Street. It's simple. It's a good, strong name, Thorn.
Yeah. I mean, it sticks out. You guys have, I remember the first time I saw the logo, I wasn't sure what it was, and then I had to look at it again. I was like, it's like a raccoon.
Raccoon riding a bike, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, dude, no, it's badass. It's sick. So are you the head brewer then?
No, I haven't brewed in years, to be honest with you. I mean, it's gotten to where, like you said, it's where do you allocate your time? The first 6 to 8 months, myself and other co-owner and founder, Eric, pretty much brewed all the batches. And Dan was also coming intermittently, but he had a little more serious job than we did at the time. So, but yeah, we brewed a ton then, and now it's kind of more ideas and quarterbacking managers and kind of big picture stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I do now with Thorn.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys started at that right in that building right underneath the San Diego Taxman, but then, which I didn't know about, and this is after I'd been going to you for my taxes for a couple of years, is I was in downtown. I was in the barrio.
Yeah.
For like a latte art throwdown, and my homies were all, yeah, meet us at Thorn Street. I was like, dude, that's like over here in like South Park almost. And they were like, no, it's in Barrio Logan. And then I went in there. I was like, I was like, dude, my tax accountant owns this building, I'm pretty sure. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure. And then I remember I'd seen you again after that. But how did that building come to fruition?
Well, that's actually a really funny story. We were looking for a place to expand Thorn. And we looked at the bar originally. I think we actually looked at that spot. And we were looking around, and for a better part of, I think, 2 years, it was, we didn't just want to grab something. We didn't want to be up in Vista or Scripps Ranch, because for us it was important to kind of keep that neighborhood brewery thing. And so we wanted a neighborhood. We wanted something with a little character, just like, the Thorn building has now and Barrio has in spades. I mean, that's such a great community. And so it came up, and originally we were just going to lease, and the guys that we were going to lease from didn't own it, but they were trying to buy it. And to make a long story short, they just kept jerking us around, changing stuff in the lease without pointing it out, just kind of shady shit, to a point where I pretty much said, screw this. And, I told the landlord, I said, these guys, blow you off at all, try to extend this deal. It falls out of escrow, I'll buy it from you. And sure enough, they asked for an extension of time. And she didn't like dealing with them anyways, because I think they were kind of notorious for tying stuff up and not closing around town.
Okay.
And so they asked for an extension. She said, blow it out your ass. And then she texted me, says, you got 24 hours to get an offer to me because I got 3 backups. So I sent her an offer, all cash. But the only problem is I didn't have the cash. So I had about 2 weeks to find some people to take it down with me.
Yeah.
And I did. And we put Thorn in, and it's great. I mean, it's such a great location, and it's been great for us and Thorn in general. Sick. We love it down there. I mean, it checks all my boxes. I could still ride a bike to it from my house.
Sick.
Sometimes I run there, which is, it's like,
get there
it's
and then
get a
neighborhood
beer spot. Yeah, get there, get a beer, Uber back. Yeah, it's great.
Sick, dude.
Yeah.
So because you're in the barrio, I've actually been spending a lot of time in the barrio as of late, the last couple months, because of the Por Vida. It's the coffee shop down there.
Yeah.
Do you know Milo?
Yeah, of course.
Dude.
Yeah, those guys are great.
Dude, I had them on the show. They were here. I had Milo, Caro, and then Avril, their manager.
Yeah.
And then I've been going down to Salute a lot. It's like, dude, Barrio is sick. For me, that's like one of my favorite neighborhoods because it's definitely got that, being a Mexican, Chicano. Like you go down to Chicano Park and you see all that stuff, and I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
That's a beautiful place, for
dude.
sure.
There's so many things there that I didn't know that were there. Or even there's like a great skate shop there, Arts and Rec, and then they have also all the art, like the art walks and all the things that they're doing with the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm about that spot for sure.
Cool.
So with Thorn now, you've taken that on, and now what led into Home and Away?
Home and Away, that's a kind of another fun story. So it used to be Kelly's Pub. And my family, my dad and his 12 siblings and my grandparents, they actually originally, when my dad was born until he was 5, they grew up on 22nd and Imperial. And then the family just got big enough to where my grandpa picked them up, moved them to Mission Hills on Hickory Street. And a couple of my uncles still live in that house to this day. But Kelly's was always the kind of the uncle's watering hole, you know. And I mean, I was going there technically before I was supposed to be drinking, but it sneaked me in. But it just ended up being one of those kind of iconic places that I've known for as long as I could remember, where, you know, we've done all my aunts and uncles' wakes there. We've done, you know, it's just been such a part of kind of my family history, and it was just that spot, you know, that was their bar, you know. And Nick Ebbett, he's straight off the boat from Ireland. He doesn't live here now. Kind of, you know, he owns the building and has this Kelly's and the other one in East County. And I mean, it must have been right before I opened up Thorn. Probably a few years, probably 3 years before I opened up Thorn. Every time he was in town, which is, you kind of just randomly run into him, you know, and I'd be down there. And I'd always be like, Nick, you got to sell me this bar, man. Because it started to get to where it was just really dead. You know, there wasn't a lot of people in there. And I just saw so much potential in it. I just loved it. You know, it had that massive parking lot. Oh, you could blow this out and do a big patio and do all this cool shit. And so every time I saw him, I'm like, Nick, you got to sell me this bar. Nick, you got to sell me this bar. And it was funny. One time he literally just got sick of me asking him. And he goes, Dennis, I'm not going to sell it, but if I do, you're going to get it, right?
Yeah.
And he said, just stop asking me. Stop bugging me, little shit, right? And so fast forward, Thorn opens up. Thorn's doing good. I think we're probably in, you know, I don't know, year 1, 2, maybe, year 2. And Nick comes into town, and I catch wind he's trying to get a hold of me. And so I go down, and we link up, go to lunch. And I think it's because he had something going on, something else he wanted to do. And it was one of those things where I don't think it was really making money. It was just kind of staying afloat. And, you know, to him, all the bartenders and the people that went there, the regulars, they were kind of family for him too, just like they are for me now. You know, it's just that's kind of your spot. But he said, hey, I want to do it, and here's what I think it's worth, and here's the terms, and you want to do a deal? And I said, fucking hey, yeah. So, yeah, I grabbed one of my best friends, Frank, who's my partner there now, the other managing partner, owner, and it's like, hey man, I think he was at Bang Bang at the time. He was the GM at Bang Bang. Oh, shit. And I said, Frank, I went in there. He did his regular, hey, you want to jam? We're going to do a shot, you know? And I go, hey, Frank, you want to open up a bar with me? And he's like, looks at me, he goes, which one, you know? I tell him, he goes, fuck yeah, I do. Yeah, and it's just like, it was on. You know?
Sick,
So we did it. I mean, we went down there and saw cut the fucking windows in the wall and blew cut that parking lot in half and made that beautiful patio. Have you been there yet?
No.
Oh man, I don't say it just because it's our bar, but it's my favorite bar. That place is just, I mean, the demographics awesome.
It's Encinitas.
No. Old Town.
Oh, Old Town.
Yeah, Encinitas is number 2. That just opened up.
Yeah, because that's what
Old Town's the one I'm talking about, the original one.
Dude, I did not know about that one.
Yeah, Old Town. You gotta go to Old Town. Old Town's bitching. Yeah.
Bitch. Okay, that's the spot. Okay, but yeah, because like I saw the one in Encinitas open up because I live right by there, and I was like, a dentist again? I was like, dude, what the fuck? I was seriously mind blown. I was like, dude. So there's a whole backstory behind it. So you're doing all of these things essentially simultaneously.
Well, there are usually the startup phase, which is where I'm the most heaviest involved.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I still do the back end, payroll, accounting, all that stuff. But a lot of that stuff I've got my company for it. I got a support staff for that. And then besides that, I do a little bit of advertising. But most of the heavy lifting I do is the early stage stuff.
Sick.
You know, construction, permitting, legalese, paperwork, just all that stuff. So.
Dude, so I mean, I know you said like if you did that all the time, it would like, you know, rip your hair out or whatever. But it's like, dude, you you essentially do all the really hard shit that nobody wants to do.
Essentially, yeah. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, when
I
you're
hear.
like the back end, the accounting, the taxes, that's all the shit that nobody knows how to do, and then they're like, "Fuck, I hate this."
It's
know?
the boring stuff, but when you get good at it, it becomes kind of plug and play, and then you just got systems and it works. And but that's what's good. I mean, that's why not only did Taxman come first in that kind of like that profession, but that's the backbone for anything I do. I mean, if I got into a coffee shop or I got into a hair salon, I might not know anything about coffee or hair, but all that stuff, which is the structure of the business, I handle. Yeah.
So you also do essentially some of the blueprinting, or did you just know for Home and Away in Old Town that you knew you wanted to like blow it out and make a patio, or is that just generally?
I mean, it's ideas, but then we got the internet these days.
Of course.
My favorite designer is Pinterest. Right?
Dude, hell yeah. Dude, Pinterest for everything. My wife does that shit all the time.
Yeah. So I mean, just a lot of the early brainstorming idea stuff, I do, and I do have a bias for action, so I don't beat myself up with no's and why I can't do something. I usually just kind of like figure out the next move and distill down whatever information I have as quickly as possible and make a decision,
Sick, dude. I fucking like that. That's like a skater mentality. Just do it yourself.
I used to skate.
Did you?
Yeah.
Dude.
I rode for Zorlak, Deadbolt, and Liquid Foundation with Chris Borstone. But this is like a long time ago. I mean, I used to ride the bus from here, I think it was the number 2, down to Belmont Park, skate with Donger and those guys. Like,
Donger?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, shit.
From like the time I think I was probably, it was, like 10 to 14, 15, and then I just grew an inch and gained 40 pounds, and then I
just breaking boards and shit.
Just breaking myself.
Dude.
And then the skating kind of slowed down. But I think I could still do 360 kickflip. You got to...
Dude, I got a board right back there.
That's what we'll keep that for after. We'll see what's up. We'll play for push-ups.
Dude, I got you. Dude, I need to do some push-ups. Dude, but if you know Donger, do you know Steve Shipler?
I mean, I know a lot of those guys. If it's not like we go to book club or anything together.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Yeah, of course you know them and you've seen them, and yeah.
Dude, fuck yeah. Because Steve Shipler, he's my homie. He actually...
We got another friend who actually, I posted, I was coming on Andy Mauser?
Fuck yeah, I know Andy Mauser.
He told me to say what's up. I'm glad I just remember that. He's like, dude, you got to tell Kano I said what's up.
Dude, yeah. Well, it's Kano.
Kano.
No worries. It happens all the time. But, Andy Mauser is the fucking man. He always comes in to, like, get coffee wherever I'm working.
Yeah.
But, dude, because he knows Jackie, like, in stuff, Jackie Borders.
Yeah.
That's how I met him, through all those groups of friends. And then through hanging out with all those guys. Not everybody smokes weed. And I was like, I seen Andy, the first time I met him, and I was like...
So Andy worked at Homebrews and Gardens.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. For sure. We would always like work on our nutrient schedule and be like, oh, what did you do? I'm like, oh, okay, we got to go one piece. Like, I mean, yeah, Andy's awesome. That guy,
dude.
That guy can do anything.
I've legit been at a wedding with Andy, and he was like, Connor. Let's go to my car. Let's go smoke. And I was like, he was like performing, or maybe I don't know if he was performing, but either way, he's like, dude, I'm about to drop an album. We like listened to some of his songs in his car. And he's like, what do you think? I was like, dude, shit's tight, bro. I was like, that's what he's doing, like a full-time musician, right?
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
I remember we were smoking a joint or probably like a pen or something when he told me he was going to quit his job and go full-time musician. And we were just, I was like, that's fucking tight, bro. Yeah. Like, dude, get after
He's good, man. He's really good.
Dude, and he's got like all the buttery spots too, like in PB, like I see him in La Jolla, all this, like, dude, fucking killing it, bro. Dude, so I didn't know that, there's not a lot of San Diego natives. I mean, through the show, I've met a lot of San Diego natives, but when I first moved here, I'm a transplant. To meet people who were born and raised here is like, I was like finding a unicorn almost. But from the sound of it, you said you were born and raised here. It sounds like your father was here.
Both my parents. My mom. What's funny is, so I'm born and raised here in North Park, but my mom's even more OG. She's born and raised here in North Park. She grew up on Quint Street, like Quince and Boundary. Whoa. So where my grandma's house was, it was like, that was just, crazy.
Is your grandma from here as well?
I don't know when she came over. I think it was when she was really young. She grew up here.
Oh, okay.
My grandpa, he was a bellhop at the what's the big hotel, old one downtown, Senior Moment. But yeah, he worked here. And my dad was a retired lifeguard, and then my dad's dad, he was actually a professional boxer at the age of 14.
Whoa!
And he'd box down in TJ. Kid Jerome, and then he got in the Union Tribune when he was 14, and his picture was on the sports page, and my great grandma, his mom, recognized him and said that was the worst ass whipping he got in his whole career.
Oh shit!
So then he changes his name to Danny Sachs. But yeah, he was fucking solid. And so he was here, and he owned some liquor stores, and actually owned a big band nightclub downtown in East Village.
Whoa!
Yeah, it was the Cobra Club. Yeah,
Cobra Club. All right.
Yeah.
Dude, you go back, like, you got some generations.
There's
you got roots here.
Yeah, those guys, the family's got some cool stories. Yeah,
dude,
cooler and better than mine. They're all legends. Those guys like lived in such an interesting time, you know.
Well,
I mean,
different
as
time.
do we, but it's pretty cool.
I wonder, have you ever asked them what it's like from when they were young and how they grew up around these areas, and then to now where they've seen it develop to everything?
Yeah, I mean, all my uncles and my pops would pretty much just say you just can't throw people through the window at the lamplighter anymore. I mean, you can't get away with what they did. Now it's just a different place, right?
Dude, I mean, I trip out, and I've been here for 10 years now, and I trip out how much it's already changed.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the first time when I came down to Encinitas, I was on a skate trip from LA, but it was like a dude I knew here, and he's like, yeah, we'll go to Encinitas. There's not really a lot around over there. And it was just the saloon. It was like the saloon, the 7-Eleven. Shelter wasn't there, nothing yet. I was like, what the fuck are we going to do here? And it was just like, oh, this is a skater bar. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, like, well, and then sure enough, Dylan Reeder was there. A couple other dudes I had seen were there. I was like, oh, this really is like a skater bar. This is like the spot. So I was hyped, but there was nothing else going on around there. And now to the point where, like, I live there, and it's like coffee shop, Modern Times, all these other things. And I'm just like, dude, what the fuck?
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
and that's
Encinitas is interesting. I mean, that's where lots of pro skaters, lots of pro surfers.
Dude, I've been watching the X Games, and I was sitting there, and two girls, and then one dude. I was like skate park. It was like girls park, and then guys like vert or something. All of them had like the same intro essentially. It was like a drone over the Encinitas sign and showing them, oh, I live in Encinitas, California. I'm like 13 or I'm like 18, I'm 26. And it's like, dude, this is or up there it's a training, stomping ground essentially.
For all the action sports, yeah.
Dude, I mean, Bucky Lassick lives off of Manchester over there in Encinitas. And he had that backyard barbecue or whatever. And I went to his house. And I met Jay Adams there. I was tripping. But then you just see this massive bowl. And it's like into the ground. And you see pure, like PLG, just grinding the fuck out of this like thing sticking out of the tree. And I was like, what is going on here? And this is like at somebody's house. But there's multiple spots like that. I mean, Bob Burnquist, I heard, lives up in Vista. And he has that mega ramp there. And he has like all that other shit. It's just like, dude, I don't even understand how much just raw talent is in San Diego for everything. But then at the same time, not everybody wants to live here because it's like too chill, but then you have like just amazing shit going on around all the time, whether it's brewery, whatever, it's like cafes now, because there's hella cafes everywhere. I heard we have the most in the country, like per capita.
Yeah.
But
I think breweries too, probably. We're up there.
I think we're like pushing. I thought we were number one, but it was I think Portland is number one.
How many do they have?
I don't know.
Oh, I mean, we're getting upwards to close to 200, I think.
Dude.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So, as owning a brewery, what have you? I mean, I know you're doing more of the back end stuff, but you've seen it grow. Mm-hmm. So, what have been the growing pains? Like maybe some of the negatives and the positives, but more so like the struggles and successes almost.
Yeah, I mean, just the sheer number of breweries, of course, makes it kind of difficult. Craft beer in general has really become hyper localized. It's like if you're in Del Mar, you might be a diehard culture fan, and if Thorn gets a tap up there somewhere, you might not even know who we are or what we do, even though the beer's phenomenal. Before, you just had to put good beer on the shelves, and everyone kind of finds you. Now it's just changed a little bit. You kind of got to market your brewery and try and take advantage of your profit centers a bit more and things that you control, because the market could change. And it's just kind of harder to get shelf or tap space, mainly because a lot of venues like to rotate, but even shelf space. You walk into Barron's or Trader Joe's, you look up there, there's 40 different breweries, so it's tough. But it's good though. I think it drives competition. I think it makes the product, it has to be good. It has to be better. And, it makes, San Diego one of the best craft beer places on the planet, right? So,
of course.
So,
But how do you feel like, are you striving to separate yourself from the pack, whether it's through branding or marketing, or are you trying to separate based on like taste alone, like in a competition?
Yeah, I think, we're working on kind of pivoting in the space and doing some unique stuff for sure. Because the beer's great, and I think we're always going to make great craft beer, and we kind of got our core lineup. We were, one of the first to do a proper craft Mexican lager, the Barrio lager, which has done well. And then, right behind us now, I think a lot of different brands have started to come up with that. Now people are playing with seltzers. So just kind of staying on top of, or if not in front of the market, and coming up with some new stuff. So we got some stuff in the works. So
Sick.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted for sure.
Dude, hell yeah. So this is an obvious question, I feel like, but as you have home and away, 2 locations, one in Old Town, one in Encinitas, I'm sure do you open the door for other breweries, or do you you take the tap? You're like, no, Thorn.
No. There's, of course, Thorn has a fixed handle, but
yeah.
No, we definitely have. I mean, it's respect for the craft. If people have good beer, they get a spot.
Okay.
So yeah,
dude,
for sure.
Sick. Because I feel like I don't know. Aside from just knowing certain homies in the beer industry or just enjoying beer myself, I don't know how it really works. But in coffee, at least in San Diego, I don't know how it is other cities, but our coffee community is pretty strong here. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, it doesn't matter what cafe you're affiliated with or who you roast for or whatever, people are like kind of an open book. You're not sharing your full stuff, but like you let people know. It's like, oh yeah, in this espresso blend I have, a Brazil, a Guatemalan, and an African. Yeah. You don't tell them the exact recipe, like if it's like a third or a fourth or whatever in fractions. But in breweries or in beer, is it essentially, like, do you guys share? You guys open door kind of thing?
For sure, for the most part. But I'm going to be honest, it's not all dandelions and rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
But I'd say 80% of it is.
Okay.
There are some breweries that have some ill practices, if you will, and kind of have a reputation for certain things, and
Mm-hmm.
and you definitely every once in a while butt heads with other businesses, just in general. But for the most part, I'd say I'd say, like I said, 80%, 90%. It's full on open door. It's collaborations. It's, you put your heads together and come up with cool new shit. It's a fun industry for sure. Which is another reason why I think there's, almost 200 breweries, is because it's, for a lot of people, the culture and being involved in beer and craft beer, mm-hmm. That for a lot of people is payment alone.
Oh yeah,
it's fun. So,
and you get to drink. Yeah, right.
People like beer, right?
Of course. Have you ever seen the documentary How Beer Saved the World?
No.
It was like, I don't know how real it was, but it definitely,
the water was poisoned and
yeah, essentially, or like they say it like left out with like yeast, and then nobody touched it and fermented it, and like just randomly one day somebody just decided to drink it, and they're like, yeah, essentially that's how beer was made.
Yeah. No, there's definitely been times in the world where the beer was cleaner than the water, and people drank beer instead of water. Dude. That's a for sure thing. Yeah.
So do you geek out on beer?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I pretty much anything I'm into, I'm constantly learning and reading and listening to podcasts and, kind of staying into it.
Sick.
I've probably forgotten more than I remember at any given point, yeah. But I've definitely laid eyes on it.
Dude, I mean, you're always doing so much. I was just listening to a podcast the other day, and they were saying how, your brain is finite in the sense where it can only really hold so much information. But it's like, if we're not using one whole half of our brain really, is like our
it's in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's like, dude, there's got to be more space.
Yeah.
Come on now. If we can make a microchip and a processor just like have this unlimited bandwidth, I mean, I'm sure there's more parts of our brain we could access and put more.
That's
shit
why
in there.
I think that's one of the reasons why I'm confident and not dwelling on problems too much when I'm kind of looking for a solution or for what's the next move. Mm-hmm. Is that I definitely don't just freewheel into it without thought, but once I give it a fair amount of consideration and I do my homework, I always feel like there's that little piece inside you that you don't know where or how it got there, mm-hmm. but it knows probably more than everything that you've just read or caught up on.
Yeah.
And that's that whole gut feeling thing.
Yeah.
You just don't drunkenly go, oh yeah, I know what's up, heads or tails. But I do think after you put in your time, energy, and effort, it gets to a point where it's just like, all right, let's play ball.
Sick. I really like that. I mean, It's that gut feeling, that intuition is really just following it. I mean, I feel the same way about how with coffee, you can't fake the funk in roasting your coffee. Either it's good or it's not good. Certain methods that I use when I'm roasting coffee are a little unconventional, but I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? Like, you're going to drink the cup. I mean, the guy who I learned from was this guy, Steve, at Zoom Bar Coffee. And I try to pick his brain all the fucking time. Like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? And he would say, like, I don't know. He just put his hands up. He'd do this thing where he like throw his hands up and just kind of like fall to the ground. And I was like, well, all right, well, fuck it, dude. Like,
is there anything you're working on right now that's kind of version 2.0 or kind of on the R&D scale?
Yeah. So I'm glad you asked. That's tight. So I actually had a meeting the other day with like he's like our staff cinematographer, and he's also doing our digital side. So we're about to do a big launch with all of our coffees. And, he was like, dude, we need a third blend. And it was this blend that I came up with. And I used to say, like, I've never seen anybody in the country doing this, but you know what? I'm in San Diego. I try to look at it the way like a rapper would. Like, rappers generally don't listen to other rappers because they're like focused on their craft. They're like, I'm going to be the best. And they do it that way. So I research science, and then I'll go have coffee at other spots, but I try to stay in my little zone. And so I say now in San Diego, at least, we have a Vietnamese African blend. And I basically, we had a single origin Vietnam coffee that was like super sweet, has like caramel, agave, and just a little bit of almond. And then I had this African that was like bright. It had, little like strawberry-esque jam, and it was super sweet. And I was like, dude, if I just put these together, I feel like it'd be just like a little sugar bomb. And sure enough, I just started messing around with it. And I had all the baristas here in the team, because I kind of do quality control as well. And I'm like, hey, try this. And everybody was like, yo, that one right there, that's the one. I was like, hell yeah, hell yeah. So then I just started like making bigger batches and putting it on batch brew and having people, I didn't tell anybody about it. We just kind of like let the neighborhood know. And now just today, the whole bucket's gone, and we're only halfway through the week. I was like, oh shit, I gotta roast another batch. And so I roasted it like an emergency batch for next week. But then I was like, dude, we're starting to slang through this. More people are like, I want that one. I want that one. So
I'm
it's
gonna
like,
have to try that.
Dude, yeah, 100%. I'll make you a pour over of it too. Whenever you want to come in, because you're like right up the street.
I'll come by.
Yeah.
You're here in the mornings usually?
Always.
Yeah.
Always. So basically we have the cold brew on tap. We have 2 batch brews. Right now it's the Kaha, the Kaha, which is the Vietnam, and the Sadama, which is an African. And then we have the Setapung, which is a village in Laos. So we have that one there. And then we're doing like an espresso. And then we have that Kaha Sadama on pour over as well. So you do that blend with a pour over with a mellow drip. It's just like the cleanest little sweet coffee drink. No sugar, no milk needed. It's like, boom. So yeah, we got that. That's the R&D coming out right now. Just getting ready for competitions, dude. I want to step it up. I want to enter like the U.S. Coffee Championships of roasting, where
do they have those all the time, like in brewing and beer? I swear there's a competition every.
Well, dude, that's what I was going to ask you.
There's so many.
So do you go to like the Great American Beer Fest?
Yeah, I've been to a couple of them. I don't go to all of them, but we usually some contingent. We'll send some of the brewers because they get a kick out of it, and staff if they want to go. But yeah,
they get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Do you do any, like, when you would go and enter? Would you do like a stout or, a Pilsner?
It kind of depends. It's I don't know. Competitions are their own beast. At first it was like you'd enter stuff true to style, and then you'd see that all the winners are fringe, if not even in the right category. So then you're like, okay, do you play that game? And then there's the other thing where you go in and, IPAs will have 400 entries, but then some old style or something, some barrel aged, off the cuff new category, or some random category's got 20, 30 entries, and you're going, do you play that? Do you go towards the less, less entries for just odds?
Yeah. So just to get an award.
We have these conversations all the time, but most of the time we just kind of stick with, the tried and true, our core beers and stuff that just really come out really good, and just throw it in there. But we've won some awards,
Sick.
Yeah. They're hung up in the breweries.
Sick.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that next time. I do know the Barrio. The Barrio is the one I was drinking when I was there because I was like, dude, we're in the Barrio.
Yeah,
Duh.
Barrio's good. That's my go-to. I think I drink that probably 90% of the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just like just an easy beer to drink when
It's
you're
just
out
an
there.
easy beer. Like, you know, like we were talking in the back. It's like when I drink, I'm drinking.
Yeah.
I'm not a 1 or 2 drinks every day guy. If I'm drinking, I'm probably gonna put down 10 or 12 of them.
Oh, dude, yeah.
So the Barrio is my go-to because if I tried that with one of our IPAs, I'd probably be on the floor.
Dude, I can't. I honestly will drink maybe. I can tell you exactly what the last double IPA I drank was at Modern Times.
We got a triple that we did.
A triple IPA?
with Modern Times as a collab. Yeah, the Super Kaleidoscope. It's on down at Barrio right now. It's 11% or triple. It's legit. It's so good,
dude. Okay.
It's such a creeper. You wouldn't even at all know that it was
like
so
one
high.
glass. You're just lit.
Yeah, well, I mean, one glass is 3, almost 4 Budweisers or any table beers, right?
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like a slice of pie right there. Just like.
Yeah, it was funny. One of the guys in there, I was in there last night, and Hector, he's on the Barrio Logan planning group with me, and he was saying how just the other day he was in there, and some guy who they're friends with, he came in and he got a 6-pack of the Super Kaleidoscope, and then he like went home or went to a party or something, and he drank all of them, and he just was like out, right? And his girlfriend or wife was calling him, going, "What the hell did you guys give him? What is this thing?" You know? But it's like he just took a 24-pack to the head.
Dude,
yeah, that's insane.
Oh my god,
he was getting after it. That's
dude,
great.
what a legend.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah,
I was dying.
dude.
Yeah,
so
that's a lot.
With that being said, what do you guys have coming down the pipeline? What R&D things you can like any? I mean, you just said a triple IPA.
I mean, well, that's we're definitely always pushing the envelope on beer and beer styles. You know, a lot of stuff right now. I mean, I don't know if you're seeing hard kombuchas, you're seeing seltzers, you're seeing you're seeing a lot of stuff like that. It's you start kicking around and playing with stuff, and if something comes out that you like, you might kick it out in the market. So, whether it's some sort of hard teas or seltzers or something different.
Yeah.
And or combinations of that with beer. Sometimes I'll throw we got some just regular non-alcoholic kombucha on tap. I'll throw that in my lager and some red sometimes, and it tastes delicious.
What?
So yeah, you could. You kind of mess with stuff. That's
dude,
the
yeah.
fun part.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be static and just stick with the same thing all the time. And I think that's something that we try to stay true to, which is kind of our homebrew background.
That's tight.
We're not, we're trying not to, as much as we can, just be a production brewery and kick out, thousands of cases.
Yeah.
We want to have fun too, and give people new shit to try, like you did with the
Vietnam, African. Yeah, sorry.
I'm trying to think of what you call it.
Dude, they call. Okay, so I made the blend, and I need to name it, and I really need to like take some time, set aside some time, and really brainstorm.
What about Af-Pho-Kin? Because pho, like pho is Vietnamese food.
African.
Af-Pho-Kin. With PHO?
No, that's too. I feel like it's a mind bender. People are gonna be like, I don't get it.
And then it kind of sounds like fucking. Fucking. What you drinking? Fucking. No, not what you doing. What are you drinking? I'm fucking.
Yeah,
fucking.
it's delicious. It's nice, hot, and warm. I love a fucking. Dude, no, I mean the baristas are like, dude, it's fire, bro. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna try it. I drink it right now, except I wouldn't sleep all night. I'm probably come back tomorrow morning.
When you were talking to me, you're like, oh, I'll just drink whatever, and I was like, I've had people come in here and do a show at like this time of night and drink like a straight cold brew to the dome, like a 16 ounce. I'm like, bro, you're not gonna be sleeping till like tomorrow.
You're not gonna sleep till Thursday,
dude. Yeah, I mean that's the one thing about cold brew. I mean, have you guys thought about? Do you have a stout? Like with a coffee stout?
Yeah, we did. So Santos is right across the street. So we had a Santos stout for a while. We'll do one. Yeah, we should do one together.
Dude, that'd be tight.
Let's do that. Fucking beer.
Yeah. Dude, I'll let Eric know. He's the owner. Dude, you should meet Eric. Eric's tight. He's the owner of the shop. He was in the military for 17 years. He was a senior chief in the Navy. Dude, but wait. I wanted to bring it back to you growing up here. So you grew up here. Mm-hmm. Where did you go to school? Where did you
So I went to McKinley kindergarten through 6th, and then I went to St. Pat's 7th and 8th, and then I went to Saints, and then I got kicked out of Saints sophomore year. I went to Mission Bay for a bit, and then got let back into Saints, which is very hard to do.
Dude, is that like a private school?
Yeah, that's the one right here. It's all here in North Park.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I know that school. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad and a couple of my uncles graduated from there, so it's kind of one of those things.
Okay.
And then my brother went to Hoover, which is where my mom went. Yeah.
Dude, that's a good skate school.
Hoover?
Yeah. They got some good rails there, some
Yeah.
good out ledges. Love that spot.
Yeah.
That's fucking tight though, man. And you never wanted to move away? Like,
I mean, I've lived all over.
Yeah.
I've been to almost 50 countries. You know, when I moved back I lived in Santa Barbara for that college stint. And when I traveled, a lot of times, like I said, I traveled for 3 to 5 months. I mean, I did that one drive. I drove from San Diego to Costa Rica over a 5.5-month stint one time.
yes.
So I was always very, staying here, staying there, traveling, just kind of transient, nomadic, if you will. And then I moved back to North Park permanently in 2006. And I still live in the same house that, I moved back into then, which is just right over here near Bird Park.
Dude.
So, yeah.
Why did you want to drive to Costa Rica?
Why not?
Hey, perfect.
I was living on the boardwalk in PB, and a buddy of mine had just finished law school at USD, and we were roommates down there. It was actually his brother's house, but we were were crashing in one of the extra rooms, and it was summer, and he said, "I'm gonna go do these 2 classes. They're kind of extension classes," and it was environmental law in Costa Rica, and it was international law in Mexico City.
Sick.
And so there were 5-week classes, and so there was a 5-week class in Mexico City, and then I think 6 weeks after that there was the 5-week class in Costa Rica. He's like, "I want to buy a Jeep and do the drive and sell the Jeep down there and fly back," kind of thing. He's like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "Hey, yeah, let's go." So we bought a Jeep Cherokee for $2,000. And we loaded up, and we just did the whole thing. So we did, all mainland Mex, and it was just camp surf. And we were ripping around for probably a good month and a half. And then we did the little ping into Mexico City, got him all set up for school, did one like rager party night, and then I bust and hitchhiked my way back to Rio de Nexpa, a little river mouth point break in mainland Mex, like Michoacan.
Yeah.
And I told him that's where I was going to be because that was my favorite place that we went to on the way. I'm like, "When you're done, come find me." But like, didn't have a cell phone. It was, this was 2004 or something.
Damn.
So it was like, "Come find me. That's where I'm going to be." And so I just stayed there and like surfed 2-3 times a day and just like got a big old beard. It was just a caveman like camping on this thing and surfing. And it was awesome. And then it was funny. He came to get me, and I mean, you can just lose track of time, So I'm like in this hammock, and all of a sudden, and I'm just taking a siesta, and I get woken up, and I look up, and it's Chris. And it's almost like I thought I was dreaming, because I didn't know. I kind of knew when he was coming, but I just didn't even know when it was anymore. It was just like, oh shit. He's like, "Come on, dude, let's rally up, let's go. There's no surf, let's hit the road." And I was like, all right. So I was getting all my shit. And while I was camped there, this stray dog had a litter in the sand, like right next to where I was camped. And I had kind of, I'd surf, and then when it was too hot in the middle of the day, I'd just hang out with all these puppies and shit in the shade where I was camped out.
What?
And so I'd feed the mom tortillas and milk and stuff, and then I'd just like, put all the puppies on me in the hammock, and I just kind of hang out. And there was this one puppy, jet black with a little white diamond in its chest, who was like the chillest dog ever. Like all the rest of them were just like pissing themselves, squirming, crying, and he just kicked it on my chest. It was just like, this is my spot, right?
Yeah.
And so they got a little bit bigger, and it got to where the mom wouldn't even come around to feed him. Like she was just a stray dog kind of deal.
Yeah.
And so, I'd have to coax her for some stuff, but she'd come and eat whatever I gave her, and then she'd just bail, and they'd be falling off her tits, And so it got to where we were kind of taking care of the dogs, me and some other people that were camped there at the time. We're taking care of these puppies and trying to bottle feed them all and shit. And they got to where they were big enough to where we'd, hitchhike into town and then go just give them to families and stuff. But that dog just like, and I was like, that's my dog, right? He was just so stony. So I named him Paco Lolo, like weed, and Paco because he's Mexican, And so so he was my dog, and it was just funny. So Chris wakes me up, he goes, "We got to go." So I'm grabbing my boards and my bags and shit, and then all of a sudden I grab this puppy, and he's like, "What the fuck is that? You can't bring that dog with us. We still got to, go through all these borders. There's no way they're going to let you just bring some dog through, right? Too small to have shots. They'd put it in quarantine if they found it, yada, yada." And I was like, "You don't get it. This is my dog. Like, I have to bring it back, I'm like, he's going to make it. He's going to make it." I just knew it, So sure enough, we're blowing through all these borders, you know, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua. We're doing all these borders, and Paco just every time, because we'd spend a couple weeks, you know. Oh, it depended on if it was surf. If it was surf, we'd go, and one of them was pretty, at the time. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Honduras or El Salvador. One of them was pretty. They were like full lockdown at night. They were going through something where it was like at dark they'd fucking cage the joint up. It was like
shit.
yeah, and then it was wherever La Libertad break is. And so some spots we spent barely any time, and some spots we spent more time, you know. But what ended up happening is every border he kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then that last border, Nick DaCosta, I mean, he's probably a couple months old, you know. I think it was probably a good 6 to 8 weeks. I'm trying to remember the schedule, but he got like this big, where he was like like a something, you know. And I remember because every time we go through a border, I'd bury him with wetsuits and towels and all this stuff. And so this time I was like, so I got him in the back and I'm burying him all this stuff. And luckily we're driving through at night, and we go in to get stamped, and we're walking back with the guy with the flashlight to kind of like search the car, you know. And luckily the whole back is just full of shit, you know. But we're walking up, and the first thing I see is just Paco sitting on the armrest between the two front seats, just proud as daylight, just sitting there. I'm going, this motherfucker's going to get caught on the last border. It's like, no.
Yeah.
But he's jet black. Like, I see him because I'm looking for him, but you don't really see him. And so the guy's in the back, and we open up the back of the Jeep, and luckily you can't see through. And the whole time I'm all, man, and I'm showing him shit and trying to get the guy laughing and like just keeping him from going around the car. And finally he's like, you know, nothing new to declare. And I'm like, nah. And he didn't even look in the front seat. So he's totally got Paco into Costa Rica.
Dude,
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah. And then down there, you know, he got old enough. He got over 3 months, and I was able to get him shots. And we hung in Costa Rica for a bit. And then I ended up flying him from Costa Rica to TJ. And then had my brother pick me up in my truck and threw Paco and everything in the back and just drove him back, and he's made it to San Diego.
What? And that's your dog now?
He passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, he passed away a little, like almost 2 years now. But he was, dude, he made it to 14, and he was like 125 pounds. He was a big dog. He ended up being like this rot shepherd mix. I mean, he's big.
Whoa.
Big jet black dog, yeah. Which is crazy because I remember when I first got back with him, we were here for a bit. And I didn't have anything going on. There was no taxis and there's no whatever. And I was like, you know what? I want to go back to Rio de Nexpa, right? And so we went back down there, and it was crazy because I was all excited. I'm like, oh, he's gonna see his brothers and stuff, because there was this one restaurant kept one of the puppies, and I figured his mom might still be down there. So I was all excited. Oh, he's gonna be so excited. He's gonna see his mom and his brother. It's gonna be cool, so cool. And he ignored them.
He ignored
them. He full on ignored them. I was like, what do you do? How do you guys not? You guys can't sniff each other out. You guys can't tell, you know. But he was twice the size of his brother, and he was the same size, if not a little bit bigger than his mom, which was crazy. It just shows you how much like nutrition plays into it, you know.
Oh well, yeah, but you brought him back, and then you're like essentially nurtured him. So,
oh yeah, no, he had it. He had it good. Yeah, for sure. He had a good life.
Dude, my dog. I had my dog for 13 years and 4 months. He just passed away like a couple months ago, or about a month ago. Yeah. But it's like I had him kind of the same deal, but like a little puppy, but not on that sick ass story. But I had him from. God, I saw him when he was probably like 4 weeks old, and I got him when he was 11 weeks old.
Yeah.
He was a corgi, but dude, he was like the roll homie. My mom was all, he's like, that's your dog. I'm not taking care of that fucking dog. You wanted it. You got to take it with you everywhere you go. So I was skating full time. So I was like, all right, let's go. And just like throw him in there, and all my homies, it was so sick. We just have him on the sessions, this little baby ass corgi running around all these skateboards. Dude, so lit.
That's funny.
But
your mom's story is almost the exact opposite of mine. I came back with Paco, and she's like, I can't believe you got a dog. You can't take care of yourself. I'm, what are you talking about? Look, the dog knows 2 languages. He sits. He's the best car trained dog you're ever going to find. And I was like, but I had to leave it there. I was like, you got a yard. I need him here for at least a couple weeks. So I go find a new place to live, you know. Yeah. And I found a place in Bay Park that I could have my dog. And I came back to get the dog, and you know, you get your parents' house, you're rifling through the mail, you know. And my mom comes in, sits down, and then she just starts crying. And I'm going, what the fuck happened, right? I'm like, what's going on? And she goes, you can't take Paco from me now. I go, oh man. So we had joint custody. She ended up totally dog napping him for the most part.
Oh, dude, that's tight though. She would see that. She knew though. You were like, it's the sickest dog, and she's like, oh, it is the sickest dog. That's fucking tight, dude. So that was, I mean, you made it back. You did Costa Rica, and then you still. How would would your mom take care of him while you were traveling the world?
Yeah, no, she ended up, like I said, we had joint custody, and joint custody turned into more her custody at some point, because like it was just, she had doggy dates lined up and had the dog wash, and it was, you know, so Paco and I would still get out of Dodge and go have fun, go to the beach and play, and he always loved me the most, and she hated that, but I mean,
of course,
he knew me before he opened his eyes, you know, I was totally his dad, so.
Dude, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Dude, that's my wife became my dog when my dog was 6 years old when met my wife, and he was not about her. Like, we had our spot. I was living in PB, like with a mattress on the floor, and just me and him. And when she stayed the first night, he usually would sleep by me. He tried to like get between us. He was not having it. He was growling at her. He like got on the other side, was pissed, and then they ended up becoming like best friends up until, you know, he passed away a little bit ago, and they loved each other. He would cuddle her and all this stuff, but it wouldn't even matter. He would come always to me, and she's like, I don't fucking, what the hell? I was like, I'm his boy.
Yeah.
He's like, blood is thicker than water, man. I was like, yo, what's up? But no, man, I think that's tight as fuck.
Yeah.
So you were just in Thailand too, right?
Yeah, I did Thailand and Bali for one of my buddy's wedding. My buddy Logan got married. So we did Thailand for a week for his bachelor party, and then he got married in Bali, where he lives. He's American, living in Bali. He married a French girl.
What?
Yeah, it's cool. I actually was I wed them.
Yeah, you were the
whatever the officiant.
Yeah, the officiant.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's tight. So you got ordained.
No. I asked him if he wanted me to. He said, "No, don't worry about it." They had some, Bali proper ceremony afterwards with like the Balinese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so it's recognized there or whatever.
Yeah,
so they're married.
Yeah.
But you married them, just like read it out.
I was just the kind of freestyle, buddy doing the. Yeah,
just the homie.
It was fun. Yeah, it was my first time I ever did it. I thought it was funny. I'm gonna definitely forget some shit. But it went good.
Did meet for like people crying and shit?
No, it was fun. We, one of the things, I think one of the reasons why he picked me, because he knew I'd keep it light. So it was like, not only, my part, but as well as like their vows. Like, it was just kind of a fun, free spirited. It was a fun wedding overall. I mean, yeah,
sick.
That was cool.
The turn up was real.
Yeah.
So with as much as you're doing, I'm sure you've met a lot of different people. I asked you if you had met Nija, because you just sent me a photo with you and Nija, and I was like, what the fuck? Like,
that was Coachella. Yeah. You asked me to send you beer once. I'm like, which of my pictures do I have beer with? Thorn? Yeah. Yeah. We were at a party at Coachella and got to hang out. One of those same things, like mutual friends, and we were all kind of hanging out, drinking Thorn, and it was cool. Dude. And it was funny because I didn't really even know who he was until after that.
Oh, really?
It was like we were hanging out, drinking and smoking, and just there's a whole day party at this house, and somebody was like, who that is? And then they told me, and I looked up and I watched it. I was like, fuck, because I haven't skated in ages, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, this guy's insane.
Dude, he's gnarly.
Fuck, that guy it's just insane.
Yeah.
Skating's just gone to just new levels overall.
Dude,
it's amazing.
It's unreal.
Yeah, it is unreal.
I met Nija when he was about 7. I met him then, and I knew his older brother. He was 9. And then I met his dad, because I'm from the Bay Area, so we were up there at the Milpitas Van Skate Park, and we were in the castle competitions that would go up and down the state, and they had divisions and shit. But his dad was always there. His godfather was like Carl Watson, which is like another Bay Area legend skater. And I remember just being at the park, and there was like, we called it the middle section, and it was this down rail, and Nija would just dreadlocks, little baby kid, and he would fucking be like ollieing up, front blunting the down handrail, and he would do it like in a row every single time. His dad would be like, from the top where we're standing, there was this railing and some steps, and he would stand at the top, and he would like, Tafagi, regular. Like, do it,
He's like Tiger Woods.
Dude, straight up. He was a skate dad, like a skate coach.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And if they missed, they would like look up at him, and they would like, they just get back up and do it again. And it was like, oh shit. But he was so like, I didn't know him, and I guess there's things that have come out about him. Like, again, I don't know, but like, I just remember he was always cool to me. He's like, oh, they got on Element and stuff. And he was just like grooming these kids for fucking skate greatness. It was insane. And then they bought the skate park that was in one of the competitions was. So it's at Woodland. It's like a Northern California, like kind of bumfuck nowhere town. And they had this skate park in there called the Boardroom. and it was this indoor park that was so fucking sick. And then the Houstons bought it. And so then it was like Nija, his brother, I believe he has
practice camp.
Yeah. And a sister too. They all just fucking shred, bro. It's so insane. And now to where I see him and I'm just like, dude, that's fucked. He's so gnarly on a board. There's not a lot of dudes who are capable of doing what he does on a skateboard.
Yeah, no, it's insane.
Dude. Have you met anybody else of like that caliber, maybe in surfing or like extreme sports or just like even in beer, like people that you're like,
I mean, I've met Kelly Slater indirectly through, you know, a lot of guys on the North Shore that I know. I know Makua and Rob Garcia is a friend of mine. He used to live here in San Diego, and we've been friends for years. Yeah, it's Sonny's cousin. So
yeah,
we'd go to North Shore. I'd go hang out with Rob and, you know, Sonny, and those guys would all pop out and hang out. And
sick.
So it's pretty cool.
Rob Machado?
No.
Oh,
Rob Garcia.
Rob Garcia. Sorry.
Sonny's cousin. That's kind of my connect with them. So,
damn.
I mean, you're only a stone throw away from, you know, legends all the time. They're real people.
Yeah, I know. It's a trip, but I mean, like, even for me, I mean, I see Rob Machado. I remember the first time I seen him.
You see him in San Diego. I remember when I was a kid. You can't miss the guy.
Dude, he would come into the coffee shop, Zoom Bar, where I was working. But then I remember I never seen him surfing. And then I remember I got to like see him surf one day just in South Cardiff. And I was like,
yeah. You see that Momentum movie?
Hell yeah, dude. That thing was
dope.
so sick.
Yeah.
I remember that was my favorite Rob Machado when it was like Boondocks. You know, the cartoon Boondocks?
Yeah.
When he had the hair like that and it wasn't like fully down.
Yeah.
That was my favorite Rob Machado because he was like, dude, that shit is so steezy.
Yeah.
Like, how did he have his hair so perfect?
That was great. Yeah, actually, we just watched that on the flight home from Bali.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, it had me tripping. I couldn't believe how competitive Kelly Slater was with that, or how they were all competitive with each other. But then you got like Shane Dorian, who, I mean, he's an all-around just legend, the big wave surfing, and just how they all kind of came up together. It was like a Dogtown and Z-Boys thing, almost exactly, but just take out the skateboard and add surfing.
And put it on the North Shore.
Dude.
Yeah.
Or even like, well, they're all from, Rob Machado's from like up north, right? Or North County?
He's from here, San Diego, North County. Yeah.
So it's like.
But they all kind of got their chops on the North Shore, staying at Benji's house.
Yeah. Dude, that would be, I mean, to be a part of that, I mean, there's a whole documentary about it, so it's something else.
Very cool.
How long have you been surfing? Your whole life?
Till about, I think like 16 I started. I skated, you know, for the most part I skated, and then when I was at Saints, I started playing football my junior year, and the defensive back coach, he surfed, and so he took me and some of the other players surfing. We'd go to La Jolla Shores. That's kind of where I learned, you know, and so picked it up then in high school, you know, 15, 16, whatever you are, those years, and then just been surfing ever since.
Damn.
Yeah.
And so is that, you know, you said you've been to 50 countries. Is that kind of...
Surfing's a big part of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like a mandatory part of each trip.
It's not a mandatory part, but when it's not a part of it, you know, I usually don't want to do more than a couple weeks at a place, because it's just, you know, if you don't have that physical kind of challenge, since you're not really, a lot of times you're not working. I mean, sometimes we'll find charities to link up with, and we'll do some fun stuff. And sometimes my friends will have businesses abroad, and I'll kind of like jump in and help them with stuff, which is cool.
Sick.
But yeah, surfing's just one of those things. If there's surf, I could stay for months. You know, if there's not, it's just it's a culture. You absorb the culture. You know, you see the spots, and you kind of, you know, take it all in. It's weeks for me, because after you kind of take it all in, I wouldn't say that you get bored, but I just got a lot of energy, so you kind of get bored. You know, it's like I need something to do.
Yeah.
But surfing, if there's waves, man, it's you surf,
pumping,
surf surf as much as you can, and if you're lucky, if you're somewhere you could get $8 massages, because then you could. It's easier to surf again tomorrow.
Dude, well, you had mentioned charities, and that was actually another photo that I saw, and that's the photo I used.
Yeah.
So where did that picture get taken?
I think that was in Cambodia, or that might have been Bali. I mean, it was on one island we were at, and I was there with a buddy of mine who's got a business, and his thing is like he does these coaching camps, and it's kind of like for people to find their purpose, you know, and kind of that's his whole thing. And he'll run a camp, and then when he's not running a camp, he's just always doing rad stuff. So I just tagged along for a few weeks.
Damn.
And we were building shit for people, and we just,
Sick.
it was always kind of, you know, throw your hat into something and roll up your sleeves and do something cool.
Just grind it out.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking crazy.
Especially if there's no surf, right?
Yeah,
You got something to do.
Dude, if there's no surf, then yeah, I would imagine. I mean, did you, I mean, along with teaching them things and doing those other things, did you help converse in English? Was there like a...
I mean, most of the times, a lot of those kids, depending on where you're at, aren't going to speak a lick of English.
Yeah.
But they'll kick a soccer ball around with you and have fun, you know? I mean,
Sick.
they're cool. Kids are just awesome in general.
Yeah.
They just no preconceived notions. No, they don't trip on any of the dumb shit that so many people do. So, yeah, that's always a pleasure.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So another thing I wanted to talk about is that since you have Home and Away, I mean, that's a bar and like food. I mean, you have steaks, you have shrimps and stuff like that. Like, so how did you pick the menu? I mean, did you like go research a chef or?
So what's cool is one of our partners is one of my oldest friends, and since from back when I was in high school, Kenzo. He went to Saints with me, and he's our head chef. And Kenzo's, you know, he's opened up the Prado and a bunch of these, you know, like pretty high-end staple restaurants. And kind of the thing with our menu is just simple, do the simple things. We have chicken sandwich, burger. We didn't reinvent the wheel. It's you know, it's bar food, but it's really good bar food.
Yeah,
you know, it's like we got the fish tacos, we got some good salads. So we keep it simple, but keep it really clean and high end, and it's all those things are, you know, those will never go away. You go to a sports bar or a bar in general. Yeah. You want a beer and a burger.
Dude, that's the go-to for sure.
Yeah.
So have you, you know, being as you're a local brewery, especially in downtown, I'm pretty sure you guys are in the stadium, right? In Petco Park?
No, unless we're in one of the restaurants. We may be in a restaurant venue, but the stadium's kind of hard to get into.
Yeah,
they usually make you cut a pretty big check towards something.
I was gonna ask you about if that was the case or not. I was like, oh, probably. Yeah, I answered my own question. But that's fucking awesome, man. I mean, to be able to do, and I mean, for lack of a better term, and you hear people they're doing what you're doing. There's like, people will buy financial freedom books just to like be able to live the life that you're living, essentially. But you're doing all the hard work and you're doing the back end stuff. I mean, is there at any point where you felt like maybe things were too difficult, or because like it seems like you don't worry yourself with these things. You're just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, do this, and boom, boom, boom. It doesn't sound like there's been really any like doubt or trials and tribulations in this sense, because you're like, nah, fuck that, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
like I said, I try and keep it really simple. I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, which I think a lot of times difficult for a lot of people. I mean, self-awareness it's not something everybody has. You know, some people think they could literally do everything and they're always right. That's not a good place to start if you're trying to succeed in really any endeavor, especially business. So I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I don't overextend myself. I live pretty modestly. I'm not trying to buy the next big thing, so I'm not over leveraged. I don't take, you know, just unnecessary risks. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I just keep it simple, and it makes it a lot less difficult.
Yeah.
You know, then you could always make things a lot less difficult. Just simplify things, you know, and mind your P's and Q's, and be smart about it, and just do it. I mean, at some point, you know, bring whatever it is you bring to the table, whether it's energy, or maybe you're a natural marketer. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's creativity, you know, pushing the envelope, changing the game. Maybe it's just, you know, lace up and hard work and long days. I mean, you know, everybody gets to where they need to get to in their own way. But if you know how you get there, you know, just put some fuel on that fire. Yeah. And then figure out where your blind spots are, and you know, find a team that could support you, and then I'd say 99 times you're going to win, and sometimes it's out of your hands. I mean, anybody who says that luck and timing isn't a part of their success, I think is crazy. But at some point, you know, there are things that are out of your control, and if you get knocked down, then, you know, just pick it back up and do it again. Well, that's all you're going to do is learn and get better, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to ask you, is like, how do you, especially in beer, where something that can be so easily criticized, how do you take feedback or like criticism? Do you take it, like, use it as fuel? Like, oh, well, fuck yeah, thank you for telling me that, because now I got to get it better. Or like,
Well, once again, I mean, I've removed myself from that part of the business because I know that there's people better at it than me, you know. So, and we've got very talented brewers, and that's why. Yeah, it's like, hey, man, I got no problem getting out of the way. If you're the guy, you're the guy.
Yep.
And so I think that's why, you know, Thorn's done so well.
Do you wait? I mean, in your approach, do you let the best people come to you, or would you seek out?
No, you seek.
Seek?
Yeah, poaching is one of the best moves in any industry. Drafting, right?
Yeah, there you go. Just a little incentive, like, hey.
Sometimes it doesn't take much. You'd be surprised, you know. People like change. People like challenges. So yeah,
dude,
nothing wrong with opening up a door for somebody that's ready.
Fucking A. I mean, the one thing, when you moved from the spot underneath San Diego Taxman, then you got the spot in Barrio, the tanks.
Massive.
They're so fucking big. Did you handle getting all those tanks and filling that spot, or was that more like the head brewer?
No, we were all part of that.
You're all part of that?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of that stuff, of course, you have contractors coming in with cranes and stuff.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
you know, everybody got in their straps and pulled and pushed and prodded and painted and, you know, stained the metal and had to wear gas. I mean, like, yeah, that's a whole process. Everybody's hands got dirty at some point.
Dude, that's fucking sick. What's out of all your businesses, what's your favorite moment that, like, you were just like, fuck yeah?
That's tough, man. I think there's still to come.
Still to come.
Yeah. I'm never a, hey, man, you know,
the past.
College is the best years of my life. I think the best years of my life are in front of me. So I think they're still coming.
All right, dude. I love that because my wife's cousin, I was talking to her the other day, and she was talking to me about, I like to run marathons, and she runs marathons too. She's like, I want to do an ultra. I was like, me too. And then she's like, yeah, you know, just keep getting older, but just keep pushing it and keep pushing it. And then eventually you're just going to die. And then I was like, okay. Because the reason she was telling me this is she says that some people get so like set in that sedentary lifestyle, or they retire and they just start a slow, steady decline, and they just like don't do anything. And she said that she was talking to one of her doctor friends. They're like, no, you should definitely just be like pushing it, and then
I think that
sudden drop off.
For sure. No, I think I mean, you give people an excuse, I'm too old, or I'm retired.
Yeah,
it's like usually that doesn't end well for people. Yeah.
No.
You should be pumped about whatever you're doing.
Dude,
you run a bunch?
Oh, dude, a bunch. Yeah. I mean, right now I know I'm not obviously the biggest dude in the world, but
which is good for running.
It's perfect for running, but believe it or not, I'm the biggest I've ever been in my life. I've never weighed this much just because I've been so skinny my whole life, because I've been hitting the gym. I'm like, oh, dude, hell yeah, I'm going to get some muscles, but it's so hard for me to gain weight. But when I actually stop running now that I'm like 33, it's actually started like, my wife's like, you're starting to like fill out. She's like, I like this. I was like, thanks, babe. I appreciate that.
That's good.
But I'm like, I still love to run. I run with my dad. He's 72, and he'll still hit me up. He's like, want to go do this marathon in December? I'm like, fucking A, you gonna do it? He's like, yeah. All right, let's go. So it's like, I can't be showed up by my dad who's 72 and he's cranking out these marathons. I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
shit, man.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Dude, I'm pumped. But other than that, I like to live my life that way. I mean, obviously, you pulled up, I was working still, and then it's like, okay, get this ready, done. And then on to the next. Let's keep it going. But I mean, I love being able to talk to another like-minded individual like yourself, and I have a lot to learn even from you. I mean, just when I think about like, am I doing enough or can I do more? Dude, you can always do more. I'm like sitting right across the table from a guy who's living proof of that. And I mean, I'm sure you had the right homies and the right things and luck and the right time and stuff, but I mean, it's inspiring to talk to somebody like you, because it always lets you know, like you said, either you got to grind it out or you got to fucking just, you know your things or do whatever, or like step away and like let the right people come in, but just keep going. Mm-hmm. Essentially is the message that I get, is like, just keep going.
Yeah. Fall forward.
Dude. Oh, fall forward.
That's right.
Yes. Dude, fuck yeah. Well, then we'll leave it right there. Fall forward.
Fall forward.
Dude. All right. Dennis O'Connor, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah. Shit. Thorn, San Diego Taxman, Home and Away.
Dude.
Yeah. Any and all those places. Come visit, have a beer.
Yes.
Yeah. Mention this podcast, I'll buy you a beer.
Yes. That's what I'm fucking talking about. All right. Then I'm just going to leave it. Dennis, thank you so much for doing the show, brother.
This was fun.
Let me get some. Fuck yeah. Peace.
Later.